So often when I meet somebody and I tell them I have a functional medicine nutrition practice, they'll say, "Oh, food, it is so confusing. I just give up." Or they'll say something like, "Somebody told me to eat more fat and somebody else told me not to eat any fat, so I'm just doing what I did all along anyway." Unfortunately, a lot of times we often are looking into options or advice so that we can address a health issue that we're struggling with. And so if we get to this place of resignation where we just throw up our hands because we're confused about all the different voices, it ends up that we are the ones that suffer. Our health just stays stagnant and we're not able to move forward. The reality is that it's really confusing because there are some things that work for some people and some things that do not work for others. However, there are some foundational things that work for everybody. And I see this after working with hundreds of women and helping them navigate their own health issues and really finding a way forward through them. If you're new here, I'm Rita Johnson. I'm the owner of Divine Mercy Nutritional Care, and I help women to take their health back into their own hands through dietary changes, mindset work, lifestyle changes, and at-home lab testing. So the first thing I tell people when they're really overwhelmed by all the advice out there is first and foremost to take a step back from any nutrition science. Nutrition science is basically when they're saying eat more beta carotene, eat more calcium, eat more isolated ingredient here. The trouble is that when we do that, or we focus on foods that are fortified instead of foods that naturally have those compounds occurring in them, that we're really buying into marketing propaganda. The way that the Lord has made our food is that there are multiple cofactors in any specific ingredient. So take, for example, carrots. Carrots are really high in vitamin A, but they're also high in other cofactors, other vitamins and minerals that help our body to be able to absorb and utilize the beta carotene found in carrots. So they've studied if somebody took a whole bunch of beta carotene as opposed to eating a whole bunch of carrots, that the people that took the supplement, it wasn't really that much better off than if they ended up eating more carrots. And so I love to take a food first approach, but really focusing on nutrient dense whole foods, which is going to serve anyone well. Nutrient-dense whole foods, really focusing on prioritizing foods in their whole form. So this means a lot of fruits and vegetables. This means meats, the way that the Lord created them to graze and feed and sustain themselves so that the animal is healthy and it can give us healthy meat as well. So this is just a small example of why sometimes we get confused because there's all this marketing propaganda. Another reason that we oftentimes get confused is because there are things that work for some people that don't work for others. For example, we may see that something like the carnivore diet works really well, maybe even for your husband, and yet when you did it, you felt really sick, or you felt jittery, or you felt like you just needed to have carbohydrates to get through the day. Regardless of the reasons why that might work well for your husband and not for you, I just shed this light for the purpose of knowing that there are situations and people that some of these things are going to serve really well and others not so much. In general, I recommend not going quite as drastic as something like the carnivore diet, because when we do that and we're cutting out whole nutrient sources, that can also have an extreme detriment, and we should never do that for a long period of time. So what can you do when you feel really overwhelmed? Maybe even just the information I've shared so far feels overwhelming to you. And if that's the case, I have 3 very simple steps I want you to take. The very first one is to remember that small things matter. And if all you walk away from this video with is that small things matter, and it helps you to be mindful and think, I feel really tired after that lunch I had. What did I eat in it that could have possibly caused me to be tired? Or my cycle's missing and I've been under a lot of stress. How could I handle my stress better in the future? Those little things that you do to whether improve your stress, to eliminate certain things that you're eating with your food, or maybe pair it differently, those make a big difference. So small changes do matter, and they matter a whole lot. The second thing I want you to do is cut off the noise. I know you're listening to this on YouTube or on my podcast, and I'm here recommending you stop listening to Instagram, stop listening to YouTube, stop going on to podcasts, and instead find somebody that can, number 3, walk with you, journey with you, and help you to listen to and decipher what it is your body is saying. This is so critical in this journey. Some people are really good at doing this on their own, but that's usually not the majority of people. And I see this time and time again, where people may go through a season of life that they're able to listen and support their body without having a guide, but then there are other seasons that things have just gone haywire and we need more help than we needed before, and that's okay. So find somebody that you can trust, that you work well with, and work with them to have them help you understand and listen better to your body. As a side note, that's why I always do discovery calls. People are, of course, welcome to sign up for an initial consultation without one, but I love to offer free discovery calls so you can see me and how I work and how our connection is with each other before biting off that initial consult big session. So if you have questions or other things that overwhelm you, please post them in the comments. I'd love to address them in a future video.